All right. So today, as you know, this is the last day of our program. So we just get to the end after these difficult moments that we have, no? But we could go through and we could finish this course. This is the most important thing, all right? So today, as I told you, we are going to finish talking about the last topic related to the ICT. I'm going to share my screen now. Today we are going to talk about some tools in order to evaluate our students online. Yeah, tell me you can watch it, please. Yeah, so as you can see here, today we are going to talk about some online tools in order to evaluate or assess our students. No? So this is the topic of today. The last class we were talking about some tools related how to create some materials online. No? How we checked up some pages, also a web page that was a live worksheets. No? So here you can create some worksheets to your students. And the most important is that you are going to receive the scores immediately. For example, before passing to this topic of evaluation to create some online tools to evaluate our students, I told you how to insert, no, because we didn't talk about it. After creating your worksheet, so remember that you can send it through WhatsApp or any media that you can have communication with your students, all right? So let me watch it again. Then I'm going to change again my screen. Just give me a second. I'm going to put again the page. Yeah, let me show you here. Yeah, tell me, can you watch it again? Yes.
Yes, teacher. Yes.
All right. So here
Yes,
you have
teacher.
these worksheets. Now these worksheets. Let's imagine that we have this worksheet. Yeah. You created your worksheet. Now remember that this is your. Imagine that this is your worksheet that you created. So how can you send to your students in order to complete it, in order to develop it? So it's very easy. So here you have noticed at the top part. Oh, just a minute. Some of your partners are coming. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. So notice here, you have many options in order to share to your students. As you can watch here, you have some options. You can add to your notebooks or workbooks because here you can create workbooks too. You can download it as a PDF. Notice you don't want to send online, so you can send it in order to have your students have the opportunity to print it. So you can download it. Here says download as a PDF. Notice another option is to insert in your web or blog. Here you have the opportunity to insert it to your web or blog. So then I'm going to show you how to do it. The other one is to add to your Google Classroom. Remember, the last class we were talking about how to create a course in Google Classroom. So you can insert this worksheet, this online worksheet to your Google Classroom. You can add to Microsoft Teams. This is similar to Google Classroom. This is related to Microsoft Corporation, as you know. And the Google Classroom is related to the Google, no? To the Google Corporation. So you have these two corporations, so Microsoft or Google. So you have these two ones. And also Microsoft Teams is similar to Google Classroom too. Then you can share it by WhatsApp. Here says no? That you can share it by WhatsApp. Also, you have here the opportunity to watch. This is another situation. Maybe imagine that you don't have enough time because as you saw the last class, you need some time to prepare it, right? So let's imagine that you don't have enough time. You're in a hurry. So you don't have enough time to do it. So you just click as I did, You just click here, remember, you just click here, interactive worksheets, and you write a name. Oh, some of your partners are coming again. So notice that you have here, and you can click on here, and you can find the topic that you want. All right. Oh, just a minute. What's up? Yeah, here it is. Notice you just write a topic. Past simple. Imagine that you want to find a worksheet related to the past simple was or were. For example, that you were working. So here you have a lot of worksheets that are done for other teachers, so you can use them. All right. So you can create it, or you can use the worksheets that you can find here. So again, you click on this worksheet, and again, you have these options to share it to your students. Add to your workbook, download it as a PDF file, insert it into your web page or blog, or add it to the Google Classroom, add it to the Microsoft Teams, share it by WhatsApp, add to your favorites. No? Maybe you have a collection in order not to write again the topic. No? So you maybe add to your favorites and you have your collection. And also here you have what the teacher do in order to prepare this worksheet. And finally, notice here you have also a link that you can send to your students to watch it and to develop it. All right. So now what we're going to do now, we are going to, I'm going to show you how to insert this online worksheet into your Moodle classroom and into your Google Classroom. So I'm going to pass to the Moodle. We are going to start first with a Moodle.
Yes, teacher.
All right. So remember, this is the Moodle course that I created. No, don't forget it. So we are going back. Yeah, notice this is my Moodle. This is a web page. Remember, this is a page that we created in order to create your courses. All right. So my course is second grade. All right. Yeah, and you divide it here by weeks. No, can you remember this action? No, you can create your weeks or your term and so on. Now, I want to insert. Notice, I want to insert this worksheet that I created or that I found on live worksheets into my Moodle course. This is the second grade on the first week. I want to put it on the first week. Remember that you must click on here. Yeah, don't forget to do that. You must click on the icon where it says activate edition or turn editing on. No, in English is turn on editing or turn editing on. So you click here. Don't forget to do that. If you don't click here, you cannot do anything. All right. So you must click here on this button where it says in Spanish activar edición or editar. In English is edit or turn on editing or turn editing on. All right. So you click here. Oh, one of your partners is coming. Yeah, you click here and notice, if you don't click here, you cannot see anything, just the topic or the material and that's all. But if you click here, don't forget it. If you click here, so you can have some resources. Notice, add an activity or resource. So you have to do this. You have to do this to add an activity or resource. So you add an activity. And as we have seen, Moodle has a lot of activities and resources. No? For example, you have activities, you have database, chat, election, survey, questionnaire, no? Or a test, forum. Resources, you have files, folder, announcements, a book, web page, URL. So these are the resources. So you have the activities and the resources. And you have here everything. No, you have here everything. So how can you insert this online worksheet that we created or we found it? So there are some kind of options. The first option that I usually use is this, the URL. In the URL, as you can see here in the information, notice in the icon, in the URL, the teacher gives a link, an internal link to a resource. So this is what we are going to do now. So we are going to go back to the live worksheets. Notice, are you watching the live worksheets? Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Yes? Okay, so notice here, remember, so you have to copy the
Yes.
link. This part, notice, you have to copy the link. Here says copy, right? Copy. You just click here, copy. You go back to the Moodle. You have to go to the resource where it says URL. I don't know what is happening here. Just give me a second. Yeah, my internet is not working well. Yeah, notice here. So you are going to add a link, a URL link. So you write here past simple, no? Was somewhere, notice. So you write a name, no? Then you must paste it. Notice, this is the link. Notice, this is the link. So here you can write a description, no? Develop this online worksheet. That's it. Okay, so you have this. In the appearance, notice here something important. Automatically, so it means that it is going to be open automatically. Then you have this insert. It means that they are going to watch it here on the same platform. They are not going to open another window. Notice, they are not going to open another window. They are going to watch it here. Let's try it. Sometimes it's works, sometimes not, because it depends on the system. Yeah? But most of the time it works. Insert, remember, it means that they are not going to open another window. No, in the same platform, they can watch the worksheet. And that's it. You're not going to move the other ones. You just save the changes and go back to the course. Here it is. Oh yeah, put it. Oh, notice here I put it on the announcements. So can you remember what can I do in order to move it to the first week? Because this resource I want it to be on the first week. What do I need to do? Can you remember? In order to move it, because notice here, it is near the announcements, but the resource, I want to have the resource here on the first week. So what can I do? Can you remember? No, nobody? Can you remember? How can I move these resources to the first week? Because it's not in the correct place. All right, don't worry. So here, notice, here you have a cross on the left side of this resource, notice. So you just click and drag it, and that's it. Notice, it's so easy. Notice, here you drag, you move it. Notice here, imagine that this is not the correct place. Oh, I forgot to put it on the first week and put it on the other week or another part of this course. So you just click here on the cross, the plus symbol with arrows, you drag it. You just drag it and that's it. All right. So notice here, this is the link of this online worksheet. So let's open it. Okay. Can you see it? Notice that you didn't open it in another window. No, it's just on the same platform, in the Moodle platform. So they are not, maybe sometimes when they open to another windows, they have a lot of windows and maybe it's going to be broken, no? The internet connection breaks down. So notice it is inserted. This is insert. You insert this worksheet into the Moodle platform, into your Moodle course, and they can complete it. Okay? Notice here, this is a worksheet. All right, this is a worksheet. Okay, so this is the way. This is the way that you can insert. Remember, you can insert the online worksheet into your Moodle course. All right? This is the way that you can see it. But another way, I'm going to show you another way that you are going to watch it here. If you notice, you must click, all right? You must click to open the worksheet. Now I'm going to show you how to insert this worksheet in this page. You don't have to click to open it. No, you are going to watch it here. Notice what we are going to do. Again, add an activity resource. Now you are going to go to the resource where it says page, web page. Here, this resource, the web page. Notice. So what are we going to do here in the web page? So the teacher create a web page using the editor test, no? The test editor. So I'm going to show you how. Done? So you click here, a page. Again, past simple was where. Again, develop the activity, no? Develop the online worksheet, no? All right, so the instruction depends on you. All right, okay, so notice here we are going to use now this. You have to click, notice you have to click, I'm going to raise this, you have to click here, show the description in the web page of the course. Notice, show the description because it's not able to do that. So you must click here. You must habilitate this resource. Show description in the web page of the course. And what are you going to do now? Notice we are going to go to the icon that you have this arrow down. So you must click here. All right, you click here and you have to go to this command, to another icon at the end that you have these symbols. Yeah, here you have these symbols of equalness, equality, major or less. No, so you click here and you have these symbols, these letters. So this is a special language in order to insert some activities into a web page. And you can insert it into a platform or a web page or from YouTube, so whatever you want, all right? So what are you going to do? Let's go back to the live worksheets. Again, notice, what are you going to do? Now you must click on the option where it says insert in my web or my web page or blog. Notice here, you click here. I'm not a robot, so you say that you are not a robot. Continue and notice what appears now. This language, right? This special language. So you copy. You must copy this language. Copy, and you have to go to the Moodle course and paste it. Notice I paste it. All right? Yes? Don't forget it. Again, you must go. I'm going to go back. You must go where it says insert on my web page or blog. You click here, insert on my web page or blog. I'm not a robot. Continue, and appears this language. Now, this is called a HTML language, all right? So it's not necessary to understand what is the language. The most important is to copy this test, right? So you copy this again. I'm going to do it again. You copy this test and paste it into the description. Notice, you must insert this test into the description. And don't forget to click here. It's very important to click here, this in the square. Show the description in the web page of the course. So you must click here, all right? Yeah. Then you have to add a content. Yeah, it's important to write here a content. So a worksheet related to was and where. Now this is as an example, all right? Yeah, okay, so don't forget it. This is a web page. You're going to add a web page. Then in the text box, you must click, remember, you must click here on this icon, the arrow which is going down. Then you must go to the other icon at the end when you have these symbols of equalness, no? So you have these symbols. And then you go to the live worksheet, all right? You go to the live worksheet online, you insert, remember, you insert this test, yeah? You insert this test and copy it here, all right? After doing that, you must save the changes and go back to the course. Notice, how can you see it? Notice here, it's here. Notice the difference. If you insert it as a URL, the student must click on here and he is going to watch, or she is going to watch the worksheet. All right, notice this is the worksheet, but the student need to click on the resource, right? They need to click on the resource. But the second option, you insert it on your course. Notice this is your course and this is the worksheet. All right? So the students, what does the student need to do? Just click here, notice, and they complete. So they are in the Moodle course. They didn't go to another page. They are in the Moodle platform. All right, they are in the Moodle platform, so they can complete it. All right, they can complete it. Oh, there are some teachers coming. Just give me a second. So this is the way how can you insert, yeah? How can you insert this worksheet that you created or you found it on live worksheets. No, there are two ways. I use the two of them. Sometimes the second option doesn't work because it depends on the band that you have on your internet connection and the internet connection of your students. Sometimes, but most of the time you can use this and you can have this as a visual engagement to your students. No? So note, oh no, the teacher gave us an online worksheet and it's here. Notice it's here. They don't have to open another window or they don't have to open another web page. No, no, no. Just in the same Moodle platform. All right, because you didn't get out of the Moodle platform. So this is the way how can you insert in the Moodle. Now we are going to pass to the Google Classroom. How can you insert this worksheet in the Google Classroom? Let me change my, oh yeah, what is it? Yeah, can you watch it? I'm going to the Google Classroom. Yeah, okay, so this is my Google Classroom. I have here some courses. The course that we created last week was this, right? Teaching with ICT, first grade, no? Here, don't forget that you're going to send a link or the code to your students in order to join to your class, no? And how can you create this? Adding an activity, right? So you have to add. So here says create. So you're going to create, notice, you're going to create. So let's create it. Create. So you can maybe put it as a material or as a homework, no? Whatever you want, all right? So let's put it here as a homework. Let's imagine that you give them as a homework, all right? So here you have task 3, online worksheet. Was and where. Yeah, that's it. So now what do you need to do? You need to add. Notice here, add. If you want to create, remember that you have two options, add or create. So you want to create, you are going to use the G Suite, no, the Google Documents. So here you have the a Word, no, similar to Word, PowerPoint, Excel. So you have here a lot of tools to create. But the easier one is to add. We are going to add. Remember, this is a task. This is a homework. So you're given this online worksheet as a homework. Yeah? So you add and notice you have here a link. Vínculo in Spanish, vínculo in English, a link. So you click on the link where it says link and you need to add the link. So again, you go to the live worksheets, no, the live worksheets. So you need to, oh, my internet, yeah, okay, this is it. So you need to copy the link. Remember, you need to copy the link and you are going to paste it here and add a link. And this is it. Notice here you can watch it. You have here the link to this worksheet, all right? And then you have here the score. You want to send the score because then I'm gonna show you the scores. Then, so 20, let's imagine that it's 20. Yeah, here you write a date, no, when they are going to give you this. Let's imagine here. Yeah, and let's just an example. Yeah, it's just an example. And assign. No? So here you have to assign. And that's it. Notice. So the students click on here, and they have the worksheet that they need to complete. Notice. You insert. You insert the online worksheet to your Google Classroom. Now, teacher, how can I receive the scores? Let's see here. The scores are going to be in this platform. Remember, this is like a platform. When you sign in or you sign up, so you're gonna have an account. For example, this is my account. So I can find more worksheets. I can create worksheets, all right? And where do I get the scores? Notice here, you go to the right top part of this platform. Here you have my nick, no, this is my nickname, JCat7. And you click here on this triangle downside. You have here the notes. You click here, notice, you click here in the notes and you receive the scores. Notice this is the scores of my students when I gave them these worksheets. Oh, teacher, 10, remember, and you must tell to your students this. The maximum score on this platform is 10. So 10 is equal to say that they got 20, all right? So they need to multiply, no? If they got, for example, here, no? Some of my students have, well, 8. Oh, yeah, it means that his score or her score is 16. All right. So in the Google Classroom, so you don't have to write 8.1. So in the Google Classroom, you need to score them as a 16, no? So you need to write 16. But you receive the scores here. Notice it's immediately when the student finished, there you are going to receive a message on your email because when you created your account, you create it with your email, with your personal or institutional, whatever you use, all right? And you're gonna receive a message, not the worksheets online, the message that the scores are uploaded or your student has uploaded a worksheet, all right? And also you have on this platform the scores. And notice you have all the scores of the students here in the platform immediately. All right, immediately. Oh yeah, for example, Camila Mendoza, 9.7 means 20, no? It means that this person got 20. All right. So you pass it to your register, or you use it in your Google Classroom or in your Moodle course. So whatever you want. Notice whatever you want. So it's very important to use this platform. It's so useful. Yeah, it's so useful for you in order to give to your student more practice. And I don't advise you to use it as a formal assessment because, as you know here, there are a lot of opportunities to students to cheat. They copy the answer, maybe one of them finished first and they pass the answers. Take it just as a formative assessment, no? Not a formal, no? It's not a formal assessment because there are not so many how can you say that, there's so no many difficulties, no, it's so easy to complete these worksheets with the same with the email. Also there is an option that they can check answers, but when they check answers they are not going to send the online worksheet, but they are so intelligent, they are so smart, so they do it again. There is no here possibility to put here just once and they don't have to do anymore, no. So they can do it a lot of times. So this is one of the problems, no? So my advice is to take it as a formative assessment or just practice, no? To make some feedback to your students. So this is very important. You can practice a lot with these worksheets, no? Grammar, pronunciation also. Remember that we created an exercise with listening, also with speaking. And if you find out more about this platform, you can insert videos from YouTube, songs. Oof, there are a lot of options here. There are a lot of options that you can do with this platform. All right. So notice we just saw how to insert, how to insert this live worksheet, no, this online worksheet to your Moodle course and into your Google Classroom. Don't forget how to do it. And don't worry that this is recorded. No, this is recorded. All right. So let's pass to the topic of today. Today we are going to talk about, as I told you, we're going, oh, please don't forget your microphones. Today we're going to talk about the evaluation, tools to evaluate, our students. But let me start with what are we going to evaluate? Evidence of learning. So we are talking about a lot of this term, not an evidence to your learning. So what is an evidence? Learning evidences are productions and or actions carried out by students in defining situation as an integral part of the learning process through which that they have learned. All right. So what the students produce or the actions that they carry out in the learning process. All right. They can be interpreted and identified at the level of achievement of the competence that they have reached in relation to the established learning purposes and how they have learned it. So this is one way to interpret and identify, no? How well they do it or how well they are acquiring or learning a topic or a skill. No? Remember that it's according to the learning purposes. No? So samples of evidence of learning or learning evidence. So we have visual organizers, written tests, essays, structured testing, oral presentations, problem solved, models, and reports. So we have a lot of ways that we can get evidence from our students, all right? And now we are going to analyze how can we collect these evidences online. No, remember that we don't have now the opportunity to check up the notebooks. Maybe they can send with photos, no, your notebooks or pages of books and so on. No, but there are other ways. How can we collect an evidence? So we have some instruments and strategies that can contribute to the purpose of collecting and at the same time analyzing evidence in virtual learning environments. One of them is the forms, the evaluation forms. With forms, you create tests, exams, questionnaires, surveys. The elaboration and use of digital rubrics. Tracking evidence on the web so they can develop their evidences on class using many pages or tools to create them. For example, we use one of them, Padlet. Can you remember when we use Padlet? And I write some questions and you have to answer these questions according to your opinion. So this is one way to track evidence on the web because you are producing, you're giving your answers, your opinions. So you're tracking evidence on the web. E-portfolios, this is another way. For example, when you create your Google Classroom, a course in Google Classroom, automatically you have a folder in your Google Drive related to this course. And in this folder, you have all the materials that you send to your students, all the evidences, so the tasks that your students developed in this platform, you have all of them. So you don't need to create another folder and pass your evidence from your students to this file. No, but the other way is to use the Google Drive, no? Because remember, Google Drive is like your hard disk, no? Your hard disk in your computer, but virtual. So you can upload here your files. Maybe your computer, your laptop is full. You don't have enough space, so you can pass it to your Google Drive and you can create your own personal e-portfolio. So here you have this. Co-evaluation and self-evaluation tools. Tools to create forms. Here we have offered by the LMS, Google Forms and Assignments, the quiz model, the exam model in Moodle, so we can create this. This is what we are going to do next. Test and survey on Edmodo, so you can create on Edmodo too. Alternatives to LMS, remember, Google Classroom, Moodle, Edmodo, Canva. So they are LMS, Learning Management System. Remember, they are platforms in order to manage the learning of your students. So they have some tools, some resources in order to create forms. But apart from the LMS, we have other resources too online. One of them, I think one of them you use the most, and that is Kahoot. You use Kahoot to create so interactive quizzes, no? Or tests to give to your students, and in order to motivating, no? To acquire some knowledge, all right? Kahoot, Mentimeter, quizzes, Quizlet. So you have these options in order to create forms. Tools to prepare and use digital rubrics. So as you know, a rubric is an instrument prepared by the teacher which contains the criteria that correspond to different levels of achievement in such a way as to allow an assessment of the performance observed in relation to the development of a competition. So here you have, this is a rubric, no? Criteria to evaluate the development of your students, no? The achievement of your students. It is used for feedback purposes and also to assign an achievement level. Offered by the LMS, again, Google Classroom offered this opportunity to create your rubrics on the assignment that you give to your students. Also, Moodle have this kind of qualification, Canva, so these are the LMS. Now, alternatives to LMS. So you have here Robistar, Technology, eRubric, CoRubric. So for example, CoRubric is to make more a co-evaluation or a self-evaluation. For example, when you use rubrics, so you as a teacher evaluate your students, right? This is the most common thing that we do. You evaluate the students with a rubric, with some criteria. But with core rubric, notice this is very important, with core rubric, you make your students also be a teacher because they are going to evaluate their partner's performance. With co-rubric, remember, that's why the term, co-rubric, co-evaluation or self-evaluation, all right? So not just you, the teacher, also students are going to evaluate the other students' performance. So this is very important, all right? Co-rubric. If we have a time, maybe I'm gonna show you this, how to use it. The other ones is the monitor evidence. Now here you have this learning management system, all right? In order to do that, but we have other tools, other resources to have this monitor function, no? That we have to develop to our students. We have Padlet, we have Edpuzzle, EducaPlay, Canva. So with these tools on the website, so we can monitor evidences in the network, all right? For example, as I told you before, we use Padlet, no? In order to create your murals, no, or boards. And on these boards, your students are going to upload answers or tests or paragraphs or audios. No, they can also upload audios, images, pictures. So there are a lot of opportunities to your students to upload their evidences. Lucy Char is another one. Tools to create a portfolio. So a portfolio is an online digital space that collects a documentary history of a set of total performances of the student, which allows observing the effort and achievements in relation to the purposes of learning and evaluation criteria. Also, maybe you have created your portfolio using your hard disk, no? And your computer is completely full. So you need a space on your computer. So what you're going to do is to use some tools online. So you can use diverse tools of organization and storage in the cloud, as well as specific ones for the creation of portfolios. Thus, we have CISO, Google Drive, and Earth Campus. The most common and I think the easiest is Google Drive. All right, Google Drive. Also the LMS, Google Classroom, Moodle or Edmodo, they create, for example, Google Classroom create a folder in the Google Drive automatically. So you don't need to create a folder and pass the evidence from your students from this week, from the other week. It's not necessary. So when you use Google Classroom, automatically this course create also a folder in Google Drive. And all the tests, all the homework that you gave to your students are stored there, all right? CISO and Air Campus are other web pages to create more sophisticated portfolios, all right? So you need some practice to get it. I think according to my own experience, the easiest one is using Google Drive, all right? And also using the LMS platforms. Portfolio Gen is another one. Okay, so let's see. First, we're going to start how to create forms, all right? I'm going to show you how to create forms. Let's start with the Moodle platform. How to create form or questionnaires with Moodle. Just give me a second. Yeah, okay. So I went back to the course. Are you watching it? Tell me you can watching it. Yes?
Yes, teacher.
All right. So notice
Yes,
we
teacher.
inserted, all right, thank you. So we inserted a worksheet, we inserted a material. Now I'm gonna show you how to create a test, an evaluation tool, a test or exam. No, it depends on you, a practice, I don't know. The name that you want to give it and the purpose that you want to use it, all right? So a practice, a test, or an exam, a midterm exam, a final exam, whatever you want. So what do you need to do? Again, don't forget it. I'm going to deactivate it, enable it. Yeah, notice in order to add the materials, resources, don't forget to click here where it says edit. Turn on editing or turn editing on. So you click here, remember, this is so important. Then you're teacher, but when I open my course, I don't have the opportunity to add material resources. At the first sight, it's not possible. So you need to click, don't forget, you need to click on this icon, yeah? Don't forget to do that. Don't forget to do that. So you need to click on this icon and you can add resources, give assignments to your students, a lot of things, a lot of things. So let's continue here. We are going to create a questionnaire, all right? So again, we need to add an activity or a resource. After that, you have a list and we are going to go here. Here says in Spanish, examen, no? For example, in a few months ago, the name was cuestionario in Spanish, all right? Now they changed the name. Now it's called examen, exam. So you're going to click here. Oh, my internet connection is not working so well. What happened? Yeah, okay, that's it. Yeah, let's imagine that we are going to take a midterm exam, all right? Midterm exam. So you have here the description of the exam, no? So you have here some instructions to give the exam, no? So you could say you will have 60 minutes to complete the exam, read carefully the instructions, no? And so on, no? So you have here to write some instructions to your students, okay? Yeah, notice here, pay attention. You have to write a name, maybe practice 1 or practice 2 or final exam, whatever you want, the purpose that you want to use it. Then you have to give here the instructions. Don't forget to give the instructions. This is the general instructions to your students. Then you have here the time. You're going to really take the time when to open and close the exam, and also the time of the exam specifically. For example, here you have in the general instruction that you're going to give to your students 60 minutes to complete the exam. Yeah. So what do you need to do? You are going to enable these icons. So you must tick here. Notice here, open the exam. First, you have to open the exam. So you must click here, all right? So you must click here. And notice, and it's open. So here you're going to organize or give the time of the exam. Let's imagine that the exam it's gonna be tomorrow, the 31st of January, 2021 at the time. So let's imagine that your classes start at 8, 60 minutes, yeah, 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock. And notice, this is the time where the exam is gonna be open. Remember, the exam is gonna be open at 8. Let's imagine that your class starts at 8, but your exam, it's gonna be at 9. So you write here 9, huh? 9. So your students are going to watch the link to the exam, but they are not going to complete the exam. They are not going to be able to complete the exam because this exam will be open at 9. Notice, and then you have to click on the other side to close the exam. When is the exam going to be closed? So the same day, 31st of January, 2021. So you say 60 minutes. Yeah. All right, 60 minutes. So it means that it's going to be, or it's going to last until 10, right? 10 o'clock. That's it. All right? 10 o'clock. Notice here, 10 o'clock, 9, 10. And in order to be more specific, you enable this, the third option, the time limit, 60 minutes. That's it. Now, what is the reason for this time limit? because sometimes our students have some trouble with the internet connection, right? Oh, teacher, I couldn't enter to the exam because my connection falls down. Oh, my connection was too slow, teacher. It's not possible. So you have the opportunity to open the exam for a longer time. So imagine this, you open the exam at 9 a.m., but you can close it, notice, you can close it at 12. So what does it mean? That the exam is going to be for 3 hours? So the student has 3 hours to complete the exam? No, they just have 60 minutes. With this time limit, you specify that the student has just 60 minutes to complete the exam. The exam is going to be open 3 hours, but they have just 60 minutes to complete the exam. So it means one student enter at 9 and finish at 10. That's it. It doesn't mean that the student which opens the exam at 9 has the time to complete the exam until 12. No, they have just 60 minutes. The other situation, one student didn't have teacher, my connection fell down. I can enter at 8. And this student enter, oh, at 9, sorry. This student enter at 10. So if the student enters at 10, open the exam at 10, so it means that the exam is gonna be until 11. And that's it. So making this open and closing make your students or have the possibility your students to enter different times of the exam, but they have just 60 minutes to complete it. All right? Could you get it? Yes? Did you understand this part? So don't forget. So this is one of the options that I think Moodle has on their exams because it's so wonderful that this, for example, this option, you don't have it in the Google Classroom or Edmodo, no. So just in Moodle, all right? So it's very important because you have the opportunity or you make your students complete exam at different hours, different times, but they have just 60 minutes to do it. All right, so notice here, this is the organization. Now, then here I'm gonna give you some tricks. As you know, in these digital evaluations, the students have a lot of opportunities to copy the answers, no? There are some students which finish first the exam, so they can pass the answers to the other ones. So in order not to get them so easy to pass the answers, so you have some tricks here. Notice here, one of these is here, the design. All right, the design. So you can have here, if the exam is going to appear just one question, 2 questions, or 3 questions, or 4 questions, 5 questions together in just one page, or just one page per question, as here, no? The default characteristic is 1 question per page. So if you want to change it, you can do it. So you can, oh no, I want my students watch 2 questions per page, and you can do that. Then the questions. This is very important to reorder, to shuffle the answers, the options. So if they are going to pass the answer, they are going to get confused because they are not going to have the same order of the answers. This is very important, remember, because if you say no, so all of them are going to have the same options in the same order. But if you click here, yes, so the options, the alternatives are going to be shuffled, all right? They are going to be in disorder. For example, A, B, C. For one student, A is different from another student A. So they're going to have different alternatives. The same alternative, but in different order. Now, don't forget that. Now, the same alternatives, but different order. For example, now you have the teacher space speaks. A, B, speak. C, spoke. Notice the order, but the other student are going to have spoke A, speaks B, speaks C. So notice the order of the options, The alternatives is different from each student. So you can get to your students so difficult to pass the answers, all right? Now, another trick that you could do is this, the revision, the revision. For example, the default, this is the default characteristics. With the default characteristics, all the students can watch the wrong answer. All the students can watch, they finish one question, they can see the answer, the incorrect answer, and the score, everything. So what do you need to do? Notice here, you have to click here. For example, during the try, they are not going to do anything. Immediately after the first try, the first attempt, so click on here. Notice, again, I'm going to do it again. Click on here, the attempt, and you just click on here, the last one, the feedback, global feedback. You have to enable, because if it is able, if they can watch this, so they can have the opportunity, yeah, this answer is wrong, this answer is correct, so this is the feedback, so they don't have to they don't have the opportunity to watch this feedback immediately after the first attempt. So you click here, just the scores, and if you are so strict, you can click also the scores, so they are not going to watch anything, all right? But maybe the scores, you know, in order, yeah, I got this score, yeah, but they don't know which answer was correct, or which was incorrect, or what question was correct, or what question was incorrect, all right? And the other one, after. Meanwhile, the exam is open. Remember, the exam is going to be open 3 hours. So let's imagine that one student finishes in 1 hour from 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock. So this student has the opportunity to pass the answer to the other ones, right? Because the exam is open three hours. If a student finishes the exam in 1 hour, so they have the opportunity to copy these answers, no? Because they have 2 hours more. The exam is open. So you have to enable these two. The attempt, remember, the attempt and the feedback. If you are strict, the scores. So they are not going to watch anything during, immediately after the first attempt, or after the exam is open. Remember, notice, one thing is when the student finishes the exam, and then when the exam is open, because one student finishes the exam from 9 to 10, but the exam is open, the other students can develop the exam. It is in order to give them more facilities to give the exam, no? Because of the connection, or because maybe some students says, "Oh, teacher, my computer is falling down, no? Or it's very slow," so they have the opportunity to do it in other time, no? Not a specific, everybody at 9. Yeah, the best thing is that all the students complete the exam at the same time, no? Yeah, everyone at 9 to 10, and that's it. Yeah, but you know that in this kind of situation, our students are going to have some troubles, are going to have some troubles. So we can give them the opportunity to have the exam open for a longer time. But when you do these tricks, you make your students to be not so easy to copy the answers, right? Yeah, notice this is after, meanwhile, the exam is open. And the last one, after the exam is closed. So here they can watch, all right? They can watch. So they can watch the first attempt, if the answers is correct, the scores, the feedback, the specific feedback, the general feedback. So they can watch everything. So the most important here is this, all right? Is this. And you don't have to do anything at the last part. Yeah? And finally, you have here to go to this. Yeah, no, this is not. There was one option that Here, yeah. Notice, this is the other trick. The other trick is the way they navigate the exam. As a default, it is free. So what does it mean free? That they can go, yeah, the first question, yeah, I don't know exactly what is the first question. I'm going to pass to the second question. Or maybe, oh yeah, I got the first question, but the first question is my second question. So the students can check this. So, oh yeah, so go to the second question. And I'm in the first question. So they can move from back and front to the exam easily. They can go to the first question, to the 10th question, or maybe to the fifth question, and they pass to the eighth question, so they can move everywhere in the exam. This is free. If you want to put it as a practice, as a feedback, that's no problem. But if you want to make it more formal, in order to be a formal evaluation, so I advise you to do this, sequential, a sequence. So they are not going to move easily from questions. So they have to do the exam in order. So they have to finish first the first question, then the second question, and they cannot go backward. So that's why you have to advise to your students. You have to tell them in the instructions, no? In the instructions, so you must tell them, yeah, the exam is gonna be taken once. Then I'm gonna show you how many times they can give the exam. So the exam will be taken just once. It will be sequential, no? You cannot go backward or to the front, yeah? So that they cannot move everywhere in the exam, okay? So don't forget it. This is in the design, the way of navigation, sequential. Yeah? So here you have this, the sequential. Yeah, so don't forget about how to shuffle the answers and the possible answers. They must be shuffled. Yeah, what is it? What else? Let me see what else. Yeah, here. Yeah, here, this is what I was talking to you. How many attempts? How many tries? If it is a practice, so that you can tell, yeah, you can do it once, twice, three times, four times, the times they want. But if it is a formal exam, once or twice, no more, no? But the best is once. So as a default is without limit. So they can do the exam a lot of times, once, twice, three times, four times, five times. So you have to change that. So you have to change and put here one. Eh? So the attempts, the permitted, the allowed attempts, one, maybe two, no, maximum two. Maybe there was a failure in the connection. Oh, teacher, when I was doing my exam, I was just getting to the end, my internet fell down. I couldn't finish completely. And if you know the student is, well, a very good student, as a teacher, we know what kind of students we have, no? So you can have the opportunity to give them an extra attempt, no? So you can put it here too. Okay, so the students have the opportunity to develop the exam twice, two times, no? But if you want, just once, one try, one attempt. All right, so notice here all the characteristics that you can have in your exam. You can have here when the exam is open and closed, the time limit of the exam. Remember, this is different. Open and close have the opportunity to your students to enter to the exam in different hours. All right. One student can enter at 9, other students at 9:30, other students at 10, other at 11, but you must tell them be careful with the time limit, 60 minutes. Yeah, teacher, so I have until 12. Yeah, I could enter at 11:30. No, because he's gonna have just 30 minutes to do the exam. So this student needs to enter at 11, no? Because 60 minutes, all right? 60 minutes is to give the specific time that the student needs to complete the exam. Then in qualification and scoring, don't forget the attempts, the number of attempts, just one or two. If it is a practice as a feedback, so without limits, no? Then the design sequential, if it a practice, free. No, remember that you have this opportunity, free or sequential. Free, remember, they can move everywhere from the first question to the 10th question or to the 5th question, so they can go backward, frontward, so whatever they want, all right? Sequential, it's in order, no? So they have to complete the first, and they cannot move to the second question until he marks on the first question. And if it is in the second question, the student cannot go backward to the first question, all right? So, but be careful on that. So you must tell your students, and you must tell to your students these instructions. Then shuffle, remember to shuffle the answers. You have to shuffle the answers. And the revision, don't forget to enable the try, remember, try the global feedback, just the points or a score. If you want, you can omit it too. While the exam is open, again, the try, the scores, and the global feedback. And the final, it's okay. No? It's okay because it's when the exam is over completely, it's closed. Nobody can enter to the exam again because it's closed. So they can watch everything now. No, they can watch the correct answers, the incorrect answers, the feedback, whatever they want. No, but at the end, notice at the end. Yeah, here you have this, the appearance. No, this is not so important. The others are other configurations, all right? Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. So you created the exam, but not the questions. Yeah, so this is your results, midterm exam, no? But teacher, what about the questions? And the questions and the answers? So, yeah, so you must click here, notice, you must click here. Here you have the instructions, notice, you have the instructions, one attempt permitted, or allowed. So it will be open at 31st of January, and it will be closed on the 31st of January at 12. And 3 hours to be open. But they are going to do the exam in just 1 hour. You must be very specific to your students on that, because sometimes they confuse. Oh, teacher, I thought that we have 3 hours to complete the exam because here says from 9 to 12. No, 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 no. 9 to 12 means that the exam will be open. But in order to complete the exam, they just have 60 minutes or 1 hour, as here says. So you have to reinforce this part, no? 1 hour to complete the exam, but you can have the opportunity to enter from 9 to 11, no? Mostly because 11 to 12, 1 hour to complete the exam, no? And here says that you didn't add any questions. So what are you going to do? Edit. You are going to edit the exam. Appears anything, teacher? Well, there's nothing. All right, there's nothing, but don't worry. First, I'd advise you to update the score. The default score for these exams are 10, similar to the platform that I show you, no? The live worksheets, 10. So you must change it. Here you can change it. So your score is gonna be 20. Yeah, that's it, 20. And you save it. Yeah, 20. And you can change it. Notice you can change the score here, all right? You can change the score here because the default score is 10. So you can change it and put it 20. Now, let's add the questions. How can you add the questions? It's easy. You need to go to this link where it says add. Añadir, no? Add. You click here, you add a question, a new question from a bank and an aleatory question. So the most used is this, a new question. So you are going to add questions to your exam. Add a new question and notice the options that you have. Multiple choice, true or false, matching, short answer, numbers, essay, drag into a test, drag into an image, calculated, calculated simple. So here you have calculated short answers and answers inserted or closed. So here you have a lot of options. These are ones we use the most is multiple choice or true or false or matching or short answer. So I'm gonna show you the first one. In order to do a test, before doing this, in order to do a test, you need to have your exam on Word or on a paper. It's very important. Or maybe in Word, no, because you're going to pass to this platform. So I'm gonna show you my exam. Can you watch it? This is the exam. Notice that this is in Word. So you are going to pass this exam in Word to the exam in Moodle. For example, my first item is to complete the phrases with the words in the list. Notice, so here you have playing, playing football, playing, joining, watching, writing, taking. So what do you need to do here? Maybe you're going to use matching or maybe dragging, no? So you can use these ones, all right? Yeah, we are going to take this exercise. Notice, complete the sentences. Use the present simple of the verbs. So you have two options here. To write it as a short answer or to use a multiple choice. We're going to use a multiple choice. Yeah? Oh, your microphones, please. Don't forget to turn off your microphones. Okay, yeah. Notice I'm going to go back to the Moodle platform. I'm going to change my screen better, yeah? Yeah, in order to watch this both. Uh, yeah, yeah. So we have these two. Can you watch my two windows, right? The Moodle platform and my Word, right? Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
So, because we're going to use the Word and the Moodle platform. Yeah. So we are going to add a new question. Multiple choice. Let's imagine that we are going to use multiple choice. You can adequate. Yeah, you can adequate. Depends on you. You can use here multiple choice. You can use dragging to a test or short answer. It depends on you. So the easy ones is the multiple choice. So here we have the question. No, so you have the question. For example, I wrote these acronyms: multiple choice, present simple. Why do you write this? Because here, these questions are stored in a bank, in a platform. And maybe when you create another exam, you can use these questions, so you are not going to do it again. When we put add or we click on add, you have three options, right? To add a new question, to add a question from a bank. So this question that you are created is stored in a bank, in the platform. So if you are going to use this question again, so you have the possibility to insert it, the question that you created before. So that's why it is important to give this some names in order to remember. Ah, yeah, this question was related to present simple, multiple choice. Yeah, this question I'm going to use it again. And you don't have to write again the question and so on. No, it's not necessary. That's why you have to write a name that makes you remember for later uses. All right. Yeah, here you have to write the test, the question, a feedback if you want, and the answers. Notice the possible answers. All right. So let's see here. So you have to copy. I'm going to go here. My father, yeah, this one, no? Control C. You can use your keyboard, no? Control C and you copy. And here, Control V and it's pasted. Huh? Yeah. Notice here. So this is the question. Now, let's go to the alternatives. Yeah, my first alternative, yeah, what was the verb? Watch, yeah, watch. Let's see, this is a distractor. Watch. The second one is watches. And the third one is watching. Yeah, I created a three one, but which is the correct? So how can you indicate which is the correct one? Here in the scoring, calificación, no scoring. So you have to give them 100%. So if you give this option 100%, it means that this is the correct answer. The other ones are nothing, nothing. So you are marking that this is the 100%. You can add more choices if you want. Here you can add more choices. Notice and save. Yeah, that's it. You just created your first question. Notice you just created your first question. You can watch it here. I'm going to make it bigger. Maybe you confused with some word or some item. You want to change a distractor. So here you have this wheel. So you click on this wheel. I'm going to make it bigger. You click on this wheel and you can edit it again. All right, notice here. Yeah, no. Notice, the period, the final. Oh, here is not. Yeah, all right, notice you change and you change and you save it again. All right, now preview it. You can preview it. Oh yeah, how my students are going to watch this question. Here, notice on the right side, I'm going to make it bigger again. Here you have Google, right? So you click here and you can watch. Notice, 1 point, watch is watching. And they are going to choose. Oh yeah, my father news every night watches. Yeah, all right, and they choose. This is the way how your students are going to watch the question. All right, this is the way how they are going to watch the question. Okay, and also notice here you can change the score. Maybe yeah, my exam is 20 points, so it means that I'm going to make 20 questions. It's not necessary, right? Maybe 10 questions, 2 points each one, so you can change here. Notice, click on the pencil. All right, you click on the pencil, you change to enter, and that's it. So here you have 2 points. Notice that it was changed here too. All right, at the top. It was changed here. So you have 2 points, but your final score is 20, but you have just 2 points. Let's imagine another exercise. Let's pass to another exercise. Let's see. Oh, what happened? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's see. So what do you need to do to add another question? Don't forget, here says at. At. We are going to add another question, new question. Now, here you have, let's see. Yeah, we are going to use this to drag and drop it inside a test. Drag and drop it inside a test. So we are going to create it at, notice at, again the question. So drag, for example, I use this, drag, oh, what's happening? Drag, present simple. If you want, you can add here the grade, no? First grade. Maybe you have first grade A, first grade B. So it means that you're going to grade 2 exams. It's not necessary. You're going to grade again the same questions. It's not necessary. So you can add from the bank. That's why you have to give an exact name that makes you remember what is the exercise about or the item about. Yeah. So notice here that this is drag and drop. So we are going to change. Let me see. Yeah, this is the test, no? This is the question. You're watching my two windows, right?
Yes, yes, teacher.
Yeah, so we have this. We are going to put it here.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, okay. Oh, my computer, yeah. Control C, Control V. Yeah, let's take it out this. Yeah, notice here, they are going to drag and drop. It means that you are going to write the answer. You need to write the answers here. And what do you need to do? Notice here, it's very important. So you must use the brackets. Watches. Notice, I'm going to emphasize, you're going to use the brackets. Two brackets. The answer must be with two brackets. All right? Oh, the microphones, please. Don't forget about the microphones.
Oh my God.
Don't forget, please. Don't forget. Yeah. So notice watches. Now let's go for the other one. Brackets again. Here the answer is goes, no? Goes. So you can give a little space here. Yeah. Let's put these two, all right? Because we don't have enough time. So these two. Yeah, so here you have 5. Notice that you have 5. So the score is going to be 5. So you change. Now this is for the full one, but you have 5. So you need to write here 5. Yeah, now what are you going to do? So you need to write here the answer. All right? You need to write here the answer. So what are you going to do? You're going to do this. You're going to erase this, copy, yeah, Control X. So you can do this with Control X, write number 1, notice 1, and goes here 1, and Control V, watches. Now the other one goes Control X, remember Control X, 2, and you go to the other 2, Control V, goes. All right? And also don't forget to shuffle. Remember, barajar, shuffle. It means that the answers are going to be in disorder. Because if you don't shuffle, the answers are going to be in order. So they are going to drag easily. All right, drag and drop it easily. So in order to get them confused, shuffle. Remember, shuffle. All right, barajar, shuffle. And save the changes. And let's see it, preview it. Notice how you're going to watch it. Can you watch the new window? Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Notice here. So they have this in order to drag and drop. Drag and drop. I just did 2. So you have just 2 here, right? Oh yeah, my father watches. My grandfather and I go. Oh, go. Oh, no, go. No, it was an I. Oh, sorry, sorry. All right, it was go. Yeah, so you need. Oh, yeah. So you can check it. Oh, no, this is not good. It's wrong. So what do you need to do? Remember the wheel. The wheel. Ah, I need to edit it. It's not good. The answer is not good. So I need to edit. So you go to edit in the wheel. Remember the wheel. You need to edit. Oh, no, it's not goes. It go. Ah, right. Yeah. Go. All right. In order to make it more complicated, so you can erase the verb, no? So they are going to recognize which is the correct verb and in which form, no? Yeah. So you change it, notice you change it, and you have this, preview it again. You can preview it. Notice preview, and here it is. I take it out the verbs. I change the incorrect answer. Note because I first put it here goes, but it not goes, it go because we have my grandfather and I go. So you can change, notice, if you have some mistakes on the questions, on the options, on the alternatives, so you can change, you can have the possibility to change and to make it better. All right, you can erase a verb, maybe, you know, it's with a verb so easy because they have the verb, what, watches, go. So it's easier, right? So you can take it out of verbs, so they need to understand the whole sentence and classify which is the correct verb in each sentence and the correct form. No? So notice here, this is another question, notice, and you have 5, Notice, you have 5, and now you have 7 points. So it means that you need to create more, right? You need to create more, all right? So this is some of the questions that you can do in your exam, notice. In your exam, you have more, and you have more options. You have a short answers, you have essay. If it is open, for example, essay is when you want to give open answers, because these ones are closed answers. But you want them to write maybe a paragraph or an article, so you can use the option of essay, no? As we have seen before, all right? So this is the way how to make in Moodle. Now, let's pass to Google. So we're going to do it fast. Google Classroom. How can we create forms? It's easy. Can you watch my Google Drive? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so notice, in order to create
Yes.
any documents in your Google, here, in order to create your form, you need to go to Google Drive. Also, you have the option in the Google Classroom, but I use the most in the Google Drive because I can organize better with my folders, and that's it, all right? So here, the Google Drive, you have to click on the link where it says new, new. And here again, you have a lot of options. You can create a new folder. You can upload a file. You can upload a folder to maybe a folder from your computer. You need a space on your hard disk, so you can pass a complete folder to your Google Drive, so you get free your computer, so you can upload a file. Also, you can create documents like Word, Excel, no? This is a Google Sheets. We call this Google Sheets. You can create Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and then you have forms, Google Forms. So you click here in blank, so it's a pattern. So you have these two options. So let's put it here in blank. We are creating a test, a quiz, an exam in Google. So you have to write a name here. Let's see, midterm exam. All right, and you can click it here, and that's the same. All right. Okay, so how can you do this exam? It's easy to, it's easy, it's not so complicated. It's easier than Moodle. This is what I can tell you. This is easier than Moodle. In Moodle, you have some options, but I think it's better. Creating an exam in Moodle is better than a Google because you have a lot of options. But here you have others too. Don't forget it. Yeah, Juan Carlos, yes. But I know when you get the practice, it's gonna be easy. For example, I thought like you, when I first, because I use a lot the Google form, for me it's easier than Moodle. But then when I try Moodle, I get in love with Moodle because you have a lot of options. Your students are not going to copy so easily because you have some tricks, no, some difficulties, and you have a lot of items. Oof, you have a lot of items. So in order that you can get accustomed, so you can practice on that, you will see that it's not so difficult. It's maybe time consuming, but not so difficult, right? Okay, so let's see. Here you have the description, no? Again, similar to Moodle. You will have 60 minutes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can write more instructions. All right. Yeah, first you have to create a question that your students write their names. This is very important. Yeah, this is very important. They have to write their names. It's not like in the Moodle, no, that you just create exam but because they are signing, so you don't have to tell them to write their names. It's immediately, no? But here you have to create a questions that they have to write their names. All right. So in order to create, here you have this box. You have this box at the right. Notice you have here this plus section. Then you have this, then you're going to import questions. And the first one is to add a question. So you're going to add questions here. You're going to import questions. You can add a title and a description. You can add images or pictures. You can add a video, and you can add another section. So we call these sections. Remember, this is a section, for example. No, this is one section. And the other are questions. All right. Maybe your exam has two sections. So you can create another section. No? For example, I use these sections to create an exam according to the skills or competencies. No? The written, the reading, and the listening. So I create three sections. But if not, you just create just one section. All right. So let's start. So we are going to add a question. By default, you have one question done. So here you have to full name, no? Remember that you want them to write their names, full name. And immediately the platform recognizes that type of question. And here says short answer, right? From multiple choice, because notice when I erase this, by default, the platform give me this option, multiple choice. But when I write full name, it doesn't want it. Yeah, but let me tell you that it's it. That's so maybe I change it, so that's why he doesn't want to change it again. But by default, the platform gives you multiple choice, but when you write full name, the platform changed to short answer. So you have to change it to short answer. And the other thing that you need to do is here, where it says here, obligatory or mandatory. So you must click on here. All right. If you don't click on here, so the student can omit this question. And if they want, they cannot write the names. So it's so important that they have to write their names. So you need to click here, obligatory. That's it. The purple color means that this question is obligatory to do. They are not going to pass if they do complete this question. All right. Now, what you are going to do next is to transform. Notice here at the top.